And I've been doing that successfully.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, they could file another bullshit restraining order, and I will defeat it again.
I'm just saying that that's what they were advised to do, but the last time around. But let me try to give them a call, and I'm going to look at that.
I mean, eventually, like when you file enough bullshit restraining orders, that is reversible. Like I could be like, you guys are harassing me with a bunch of bullshit.
Well,
if I could ever find,
across from their space, it depends on how a judge would look at that. Really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I mean, I know he is a master manipulator. The main psychopath, and he retired or temporarily. But I am told actually I have someone working with me here. I don't know if they're a spy or what. Let me try to whip up my email. His name is Mike. Let me, my password.
Someone that you.
He contacted when I was on FetLife before they cancel culture me off of FetLife because they're like, I took a few screenshots. They were just verbatim quotes, and nothing revealing, you know. And I didn't hide my stuff. You could see I'm a cross-dresser, 40 years old, whatever, and you could see their whatever, you know, in a tiny little picture, nothing revealing at all. And I don't know. Shoot. It might take a minute, but he said that he's made police reports. He was doing sex parties at his house and everything, and that these people were gang stalking him and everything. And there you have your pattern. You have your pattern of these. They do it covertly. So like any mistake they make, it's going to be subtle. It's going to be a subtle mistake. These guys have military training. They probably pass off their training, expertise off to their minions or whatever. So it's going to be very subtle, like, just leaving the other day, the taillights are out, almost like someone like maybe pulled the fuse and because they were gang stalking me and they didn't want me to record their license plate.
Sometimes
random stuff is just random, but with all this fucked up shit happening, I always have to ask what if. And then wait a second, I had an incident in April where some weird lady scratched me in Walmart. And then I broke out with a skin issue all over my body. And I have a feeling I'm going to go to Walmart either tomorrow or early next week. I figured out the time, when this possibly happened. I looked up the EBT card, when I used it, about $60 on April 14th at 2:07 p.m. So around that time, someone scratched me. And if she could be identified, her getting into a car, that car could be identified, I guarantee you it's connected to this place. I guarantee you.
And it also could just be totally random.
It could just be random, but I made a mental note of it because it was odd. Like, she scratched me and then she just took off. Like, she disappeared. Almost like it was some covert shit happening to me. I can't prove that I have been poisoned at this point. It's been too long. But I could at least, maybe guys, never spoke to me once. So I'm just pointing out facts. And they just, but it's my protest. I've seen West Barrow Baptist Church protests, and they're like, God hates fags. I'm not going that far, all right? So, but I am throwing facts out there, and I am, trying to point out that there's covert psychopaths in there, which is very frustrating for the psychopath. So I understand that frustration, but this is my freedom of, speech. I don't think I'm harassing anyone. They just be ignoring me like fucking assholes.
That's the call, and I'll see. I'll try to contact you.
But I mean, it's just been escalating. They lied to ban me. I went to go label a psychopath an asshole. Then they're making up all sorts of shit. Even after this first event in October that I attended, that they said that I made fun of sexual assault victims, the lie, I attended a few other events. So if I really did lie like that, you guys would have addressed that right away. But I didn't lie like that. Or I didn't do that. You guys just made up that lie. Then they try to lie me into jail, with the false restraining order, which I defeated. And I record myself at the protests as much as I can. I was just charging it up, before they start heading out. So I think they're going to leave at 8:30. But I have the audio recording always going, because that could go for like 12 hours. But the video can't. I'm poor, okay? I can only afford so much fucking equipment. And then they're sending people to my home, which was, they stopped. because I'm like, all I got to do is talk to them, you know, and figure out which social media site to subpoena, you know. So they stopped that. They're like, okay, that's too risky. Then just harassing me online. There's this one particular person, Michael Murphy, that's been harassing. He just made a website called nightmerises.com, and I'm like, okay, I'm blocking that. I'm using my parental control because and it kind of goes with the theme, like, you know, they're babies here, so I got some baby outfits for them and shit. So I really called that accurately because I had to use the parental control for the very first time in my life. And I'm like, look, I'm not even going to entertain that shit because you guys haven't talked to me about one legit grievance that I have. And it's getting worse and worse. And then you're gang stalking me, and then now my shit's poisoned. And this is the only thing I'm doing. The only thing I'm doing. I'm sitting at home, jerking off, talking about my political shit, and then I come out here. This is the only thing I'm doing. So, is it just randomness or in my head? I think there's some evil here, and it's really hidden.
TRT are the experts on that, and so like a lot of times it's like if you talk to them and go with their evaluations, so they can at least rule that stuff out. But it sounds like you're not interested in doing that. I really appreciate that the last time we talked about you being on church property, and I see that you're off the charge.
Well, yeah, I mean,
church property, so thank you for that. Okay?
Well, thank you for turning your wheels too, because that was that was a complaint because they were parking their vehicle over here with their wheels straight, and that's been a complaint that I kind of riffed on them back in December about that. And it's like, you guys should at least turn your wheels. Like, you guys, I mean, there's trees and fences and everything, but there's kids out here, and it's like, try using that in a sentence. It's like, yeah, I didn't straighten my wheels out, but hey, there's trees and fences, guys, you know. And it's like, no, you should probably just turn your wheel, you know. It takes you 2 seconds, you know, before you throw it in park, you know. It's not the hardest thing to do.
So I know that previously they called again, other officers come out here.
What? Oh, I saw some drove by.
Yeah, so they contacted them.
Yeah, they're always contacting them because eventually this is going to turn into harassment from them, you know. When they call me endlessly.
I didn't contact them, but this time someone from there is calling, so I'm going to call them back. But I know that they recommended to them that they could pursue a restraining order against you. Okay, so I don't know as far as that's happened yet. My one thing is I walk up is I notice that if I can hear the noise from 100 feet away, technically you can get a citation for that. Okay, so I appreciate that you turned it down when I asked you to, so that we could talk about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, it's like there's no church thing going on right now. They're all inside, pretty far away from the houses.
Well, there was a church thing happening, so it's like.
Oh, was? Man, I didn't even know.
I saw people leaving as I was driving off.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Give that person a call. I mean, are you approaching the vehicles as they're leaving, or something like that?
No, I'm just kind of chilling here. Kind of like, you know, it gets a little tiring sitting down, like on my knees and everything, so I stand up, you know.
Okay.
I usually dance, but that fucking poison really fucked me up, you know. So, like, because I told them a long time ago, I'm like, I'm going to feed off your hatred, you know, and I'm going to turn it into my rainbows. And you might want to move over if you want. Sounds like it's going to be like a ACLU, like, you know, contacting thing, Boyer.
So we've met before.
Yeah, you know, remember the taillights being out? That probably was them gang stalking me and trying to get cover, and them forgetting to turn their shit back on.
So, can I tell them to turn on the volume on that?
Yeah. Sorry. It's boring out here.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I don't know the way.
Because the day after we spoke first, someone put probably pesticides through my window. Don't know if you're aware of that. Yeah, at my apartment.
Okay.
And nobody tested it.
Did officers respond to it?
No. You guys responded, and if I could ever find anybody to sue the shit out of people, because you guys just thought it was me. Me. Did you crush your pills up, Chris? And my apartment has like, I'm on the second floor, and the first floor is halfway through the basement, and I'm trying to figure out a delivery method, you know, and I'm like, well, someone could have reached up here and thrown shit. And the fucking cops are like, oh, no, nobody could fucking reach up here. I could reach my air conditioning unit with my hand without even straining myself. And everything was about me. I had this druggy friend that left a metal tray at my place. And they're like, what's that tray? Every time I've seen that tray, how many times have you done cocaine, Chris? I've never done cocaine, but if you want to give me a line, we could fucking do a bump. but I've never fucking done cocaine. I thought it was a cool tray because I fucking smoke weed, but I can't really smoke weed because I live in a Section 8, so I use dabs. You know, so I'm like, well, maybe it could be for my cigarette rolling. You know, I roll cigarettes. I thought it was a cool tray, but I can't even have that laying around without being accused. And then they brought the CRT team because, oh, it's just me. It's just me.
Okay.
You know, and just like you responded, I'm like, oh, yeah, they're gang stalking me. And now I get to add fucking poisoning my apartment to that. And they're like, well, Chris, you're not going to murder them, are you? Well, I don't know. I was shitting blood, and I had headaches for days, and messing with all my sinuses and everything until I learned, you know, like, or I self-discovered that I got poisoned, and I can't even get anyone to test the shit. And I saw my doctor earlier today, and they gave me the shit back. So I have it on me right now if you want to get it tested. They're like, we're not forensics. So they didn't even test anything. I was thinking about maybe going to university so I could convince you guys.
Tell me the address again.
3631, what, my address?
Yeah.
Oh, 3631 Marion Drive, apartment 206. They got audio on these cameras, so I got to keep it down. But they already know where I live anyway, so.
So that was the day after your last
The day after. Exactly the day after, the 11th.
So did CRT...
Oh, I'm crazy. I'm just it's in my head. It's in my head. All this harassing me online and making fake accounts and all that shit and gang stalking me from like watching me dance outside for hours on end. And there's one prominent gang stalker. They have these, I don't know if you know anything about psychopaths, and they're flying monkeys is what the term is. The flying monkeys are the people that kind of do their biddings as well. So maybe there's some of the gang stalkers aren't as psychopathic. They're just going along with what the psychopath demands. But there's one gang stalker, he's even beyond like that intersection, watching me fucking dance, and then he like drives up to me after watching me for hours and then says hi and then drives off. It's like, that's so creepy.
That was here or?
No, that was at my place. You know, like the gang stalking, just that's been going on since like December. I didn't document which day it started in December, but you know, it started in December. Some gang of people here, they're covert psychopaths, they're master manipulators. They do all this crazy shit, and then they're like, oh, well, we're really concerned about Chris's mental health, and blah, 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 blah.
So what brought us here, they were complaining about harassment. What are you doing for each individual car? Are you doing waves?
Well, I'm doing my wave, but I'm just trying to, like, you know, hey, you know, let me know when the next poisoning is going to be so I could close the window. You know, just kind of making fun of them. And the last time we were here, you were here, I was like, let me know when the next gang stalking is going to be so we could do a barbecue. Just kind of making fun of them and making light of shitty situations. And then trying to spread awareness. You know, I throw in, you know, clean up your own house. You know, because there's some fucked up shit going on here and people need to be aware. They haven't had one adult chat with me, so I'm like, you know, it's been 192 days since you got...
you do. Touch me like you do. What are you waiting for? Fading in, fading out on the edge. Christian nation, make us alright. Put us to the filter and make us pure and white. 'Cause our mind is one, the flock is free, and the flock has wandered away. Sitting watch the slaughter, hypothetical abortions, and imaginary daughters. The white folks think they're at the top, ask any proud white male. A million years of evolution, we get Danny Quayle. I'd love to take you home with me. I'd love to tuck you in. I wish I could protect you from the wages of sin. I'd love to hear you scream tonight. I'd love to hear you cry. Protect you from the madness that is ready for the sky. I'd love to take you past